Linebackers, yep. Inside linebackers, actually. So literally anyone who plays in the interior, that's what we're doing today. Interior linebackers. Let's get right into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Flat NFL. Please like, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, first guy on our linebacker list is Nakobe Dean. Of course, he'll probably be a first-round pick. We don't know for sure though. He's predicted for a second round. Either way, he's 5'11", 225. Pretty underweight though. I'll be honestly undersized. 3180 and hands on 13, projected 40, 4.59, didn't really run it. In 2021, Dean showed dangerous blitzing ability while coming up with some clutch plays for Georgia. Playing off a phenomenal defensive line, Dean made some big plays for the Georgia defense, but he was inconsistent on a down-to-down basis, which his tackle total reflects. The media has given Dean a lot of hype, but multiple NFL team sources have not been as enthused with his tape, with some grading him on day 2 of the 2022 NFL Draft. These are others, however, who have Dean graded higher, and he has become a consensus first-round pick. In 2021, Dean recorded 70 tackles, 2 interceptions, 5 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles, 6 sacks. He notched 71 tackles, 1.5 sacks in 2020. This guy's undersized, but he's really good laterally. Like, he's not going to be good in the run game if you put a guy on him, like about offensive lineman. He's just going to get killed. But other than that, he's really good laterally. You run a pitch out so you don't block him, he's going to get to the guy. It's pretty simple. He's really good laterally, like I said. He can shoot the gaps. I really like his playing style. Of course, let's get right into the ratings. Okay, now for Nakobe Dean. First thing off, his comparison I really do think is Lavonte David. It's pretty good because they're both, like I said, they're good laterally. Lavonte David, of course, is a little bigger and is definitely better up the middle, but we'll see what he can do. Either way, play recognition, anticipation, I actually think he's pretty darn good at 3.45. He's really good at just knowing when to be somewhere. And he isn't over-aggressive, but I do like the fact that he is knowing where the play's supposed to happen, because as the leader of a defense, you kind of have to. Physicality, like I said, I don't think it's very good at all. I'm going to be 2.7. It's not atrocious, but it's definitely something noticeable that he needs to work on. Speed, I mean, he's a pretty darn fast guy, 3.75. Like, Micah Parsons is a 4.3. He's not as fast as Micah Parsons, but he definitely isn't slow. Strength, he is not strong at all. I'll be honest with you, this dude is not going to be the type of guy that's going to move men. He's not going to do that at all. He's going to really struggle. He's going to get pancaked probably. His strength is not great. I'll be honest with you. His tackling, I mean, if he needs to get a guy down, like, on pass coverage, I think he can do it really well. Short of 6, he can definitely do it. In the running game, not so much. That's why I'm going to give him a 3, which adds up to, like, a 6 in reality. But, yeah, I think he's an average tackler because he's just really good at getting the small guys down. And the big guys down, the running backs down, not so much. Pass coverage. Pass coverage he's actually a pretty darn good pass rusher. 3.8. This is probably one of his best attributes. I don't think it's amazing, but I'd say it's really good. Gap control. 4. No, wait, not gap control. I'm thinking of fitting the run. 3.5. Gap control. I mean, the gaps he needs to control, like get laterally, he's really good at. But the gaps up the middle, he sometimes lets get huge, which is a problem. But it's usually not always in him. It's usually actually Quay Walker not getting the right edge, which can be a problem. But like I said, in the run game, Quay Walker's really good. But the gaps can get really big in some sorts of the ways. It doesn't happen that often though, so you got to keep that in mind too. I think his gap control is pretty good. His ability to fit the run, I'm talking about the whole defense. He knows where he's supposed to be. He knows goes in with his anticipation. I have to give like a 3.5. I honestly think his fitting the run's really good too. The run fitting is really, it kind of sets you up, except he's not strong, which kind of leads to Wyatt. He's fitting the run right, he's just not being able to make the tackles. It's kind of how it is. Playmaking, turnovers, 3.4. I mean, it's pretty good. It's not anything special, but yeah. His leadership, I honestly think it's the other guys that are really doing it. Like, we don't see much from him, which can be a little bit of an issue. But whatever team he goes to, he's going to have to be a big role. I didn't see a ton of leadership from him, and that's kind of disappointing. Maybe he can show more of that in the NFL, but I'm kind of disappointed with it. Either way, yeah, that's for Nakobe Dean. Now let's get to the next guy.
It's rush 4. Brown straight back.
Okay, our next guy is Devin Lloyd, of course, out of Utah. 6'3", 235, a little bigger than Nakobe Dean. 33 arm, hands 9.5, 40, 4.66, pretty slow. Bench 25, vertical 35, broad 10.6, projected first to second round. Lloyd, vast 111 tackles, or whatever the heck that is. I'm illiterate today, I guess. 8 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 4 interceptions, and 6 passes defended in 2021. Team sources who like Lloyd says he is big, long, and athletic. They feel he has good instincts, but is overly twitchy. He is indecisive, basically. He is physical and has good length to play off blocks. Lloyd made some impressive plays and coverage as a rusher in 2021. He has a quality skill set and looks like a safe pick to be a quality starter. If he doesn't go in the first round, Lloyd should be at least a high second round pick in the 2022 NFL draft. I honestly think he probably could be the best guy out of this draft. He is a very athletic player. I don't think his pass coverage is good, then. I'll give you that much. So we'll get right into his ratings to talk about that, but I really do think Devin Lloyd's a really good prospect. I wouldn't say the opposite of Nakobe Dean, just not as fast. Okay, now for Nakobe Dean, not Nakobe Dean, Devin Lloyd. Play recognition, it's honestly probably a 4. Considering some of the turnovers he creates, he definitely creates more because of his anticipation. It's not just athleticism, if you want to I'll be honest with you. He really does watch offense's tendencies, which is one of the reasons if you watch that Oregon play, he counts out, watch out, pass, left screen, crosser, whatever the heck he said. All you need to know is he's really good with his play recognition. He knows what he's doing. If you watch him on film, you will notice this. He does this a lot, which is a big thing. Sometimes you don't think he's making the right anticipation, but at least he's anticipating. That's all I got to say. Physicality, 3.65. He does this really well. Do I think it's perfect? Absolutely not. But he is physical, and that's really important. Speed. He's lacking this a little. I'll give him about 3.1 though, because it's not absolutely awful. He's not like super slow. It's just about average. It's not impressive. I'll put it that way. Strength, 3.7. He's not a freak, but he's definitely strong. You can't deny that. He's really strong. Like, yeah. Tackling times 2. I think his tackling is really good. So I'll give him, let's say, 3.7, which counts to a 7.4. So 7.4 is pretty good. I think his tackling is really good, and yeah, that's pretty fair. Pass coverage. Pass coverage, on the other hand, it's not pretty. I'll be honest with you. It's not pretty. It's 2.3. If he's on a running back, he's going to get burned if they beat him over the top. He's not fast enough to cover him, and he's just not good in pass coverage. He doesn't have the, put it this way, elusiveness, which makes him kind of indecisive. Gap control. I'd say it's honestly pretty good, though. 3.6. I'll give him another 3.6. Here's why I put him here. His play recognition is really good, but his gap control, the indecisiveness doesn't help, but he is pretty physical, which really does help the fact that he can control gaps like that, and they really don't get that much bigger than, I don't know, the size of a regular monitor. He doesn't really give up that big of gaps. Ability to fit the run. He doesn't really fit the run great, I'd say. That's something that he's not great at, but he's definitely not bad at it. I'd say it's a little bit above average. It's nothing special though. Turnovers, I mean, it's not like Darius Leonard high, but it's really good. Darius Leonard's the best. He's the turnover machine. He just creates a ton of turnovers. Do I think he could be Darius Leonard caliber? No. Do I think he could be like a 4? Probably. He's almost at a 4. This is probably his best category. Leadership, 3 point. I gotta give him like a 3. Here's why. Like in the big games, other than against Oregon, they didn't really seem like the defense was ever, like, motivated. Because if they didn't make a big play, kind of feel like they lost it. It's his job there to really motivate them. I'll be honest with you. It's not his job to be like, ugh. his job is to really motivate his guys because it is his defense, and we'll see. That's really is important. So yeah, that's why I give him a 3 here. It's like you don't really get to see a ton of this, but you know when you see it. So yeah, I'll have to give him he's about average. He's better than, honestly, I think he's a little better than Nakobe Dean, but this is nothing special. Okay, now let's get next guy. Okay, for our next guy, we got Quay Walker. 6'4", 240, Quay, whatever you want to say. 32.63 arm, hand 9.25, 40, 4.52, vertical 32, broad 10.2. First and second. Team sources think Walker's play was a bit off in early going of 2021, but he finished his season playing well. He has the tools physically, but he does not always play up to them during his collegiate career. In 2021, he recorded 49 tackles with 1.5 sacks and pass broken up. Walker has a good combination of height, weight, and speed that has given proof with his excellent work out of the combine. He's a pretty good athlete. Not the best, I'd say. I'd say he's definitely a better tracker of, what is it called? He's better in the run game than Devin Lloyd, than Nakobe Dean. Definitely he's awful in the pass game, though. He's not great mentally either, but I think he's a beast in the run game at times. Has a lot of potential. Okay, now for Quay Walker. Play recognition. He didn't really have to do a ton of this, but when he did do it, I think he was pretty good. I'm going to give him like a 3.3. Couldn't have been worse. I mean, yeah, probably. But we didn't get to see a ton of it, so I have to give him that. But he definitely was good when he had to. Physicality, like I said, he's pretty good in the run game, in my opinion. I don't think it's really the physicality, though. I think it really is the speed. He's a fast dude. For a linebacker, he is, I wouldn't say, it's almost top-end speed for a linebacker. 4.52 is really good. He can definitely keep up with running backs. Maybe not like a Saquon, but definitely he is a fast dude. He definitely deserves that. Strength, I do think he has good strength, actually. 3.4 is good for him. It's just something you like think about. He doesn't really have to work on. His tackling, I'm gonna give him like a 6.5. It's solid. He definitely makes the tackle when he's supposed to. It's not like he does miss tackles like a lot of guys do. But overall, he's a pretty good guy for what he has to do. Pass coverage, I don't like his pass coverage. 2.4 for him. He gets burned a lot. Here's why. He just bites in and he just doesn't read the route right. I'll be honest with you. He opens his hips too early. He doesn't really read. If he doesn't play it right, he gets burned. It's how it works. Because, yeah, he's fast, but he just doesn't have the lateral agility to do that. Gap control, I do think his gap control is, like, I'm going to give him a dead 3 for this. I just think it's so inconsistent. At times, he controls the gap really well. He's responsible with the right side. He keeps it like that. Or it's all the way down to a 1 where he just doesn't do it. Ability to fit the run. Fitting the run is something he does struggle with a little bit, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. So I will give him like a 3.2 because he doesn't really have to worry about it. Because in the NFL, he probably won't have to fit the run. Anthony Walker, if you didn't know, Shaq Thompson, he was for Devin Lloyd. Anthony Walker doesn't really have to worry about fitting the run because all the other guys do it for him. Basically, he just needs to hit the right hole. And I don't think that it's a little bit of a mental error sometimes, but I don't think it's really going to be something that big of a deal for him. So I'll go with 3.2. Playmaking, turnovers. I don't see that much from him, honestly. 2.5 from him for this. He's not the type of guy that's going to make the big play. That's just how it is, really. And now for his leadership. I mean, we didn't really get to see a ton of this. Like, I guess when they were down, he did kind of motivate them. But I don't really get to see much from him, so I'll have to give him a 3 for this. Leadership is very important on defensive ball. The morale is very up and down, I'd say, mostly on the defense. But, yeah, I don't think this is much for that. Yeah, Quay Walker there. Now let's get to the next guy. That's going to be, you'll see, hint, he's a Tiger. Okay, now for Damone Clark, inside linebacker, outside linebacker, 6'2", 240, arm 33, basically hand, basically 10. 4.57 40, 3 cone, 7.12 vertical, 36.5 broad, 10.7. If you didn't know why I didn't do all the other stuff, because that's stuff he had questions on. Clark was a tackling machine in 2020. He's sitting at number 2 in tackles this year and shooting up draft boards. In 2021, Clark totaled 136 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 5.5 sacks, 1 interception, and 2 passes defended. He had 63 tackles in 2020 and 49 in 2019 to go along with 3.5 sacks. Clark has medical concerns that could cause him to slide. Some sources have raved about Clark. They think Clark could be a more athletic and more physical version of Zach Cunningham, who led the NFL in tackles earlier in his career. Clark is a future three-down starter who is a sideline-to-sideline tackler machine. It can be good contribute well while in coverage. At the Senior Bowl, Clark had a solid week of practice to help himself with teams. A 6'3", 245-pounder was excellent to go along with his quickness and athleticism. Yeah, I do really like Damone Clark. Here's my one issue with him. Yeah, you got the medical issues, but here's the thing with him. He's not great in the run game. There you go. He's not going to get you the big plays. That's another thing. Those are the two things you're not going to get with him. He will make all the dirty work, though, which is huge in the NFL. But, to be honest, the best linebackers in the NFL, they make the huge plays. That's just the truth. I'll give you that. Okay, now for Damone Clark, play recognition. I honestly think it's pretty good, 3.6. He really does have that speed, though. That is really important. But I do think his play recognition is pretty good. 3.6 is good for him. He does really make those plays. I'm not saying the tackles for losses, but minimal gains per se. Physicality, I think this is pretty good too, 3.4. Like I said, he's not going to, guys might go over him, but get that extra yard. But in those 4-than-1 plays, he's going to make the stop. Speed, 3.7. I think it's more the hustle than the speed. Like, even if he's dead, he's going to keep on running. That's how it works. But I think he's pretty fast, though. Strength, he's not the strongest guy. I'll give him like a 3.1. But he did used to show early in his career, especially in 2019, that he really did have a good amount of strength off that edge. But he kind of seemed to lost it as he got hurt a couple times. But I don't think that's the biggest thing. Tackling, 6 on the dot. I think he's not a great tackler, I'll be honest with you. He's about average. I don't think it's the inconsistency, but he's not going to make these huge tackles. He's not going to make these like shocking hits. He will make some big plays, but he's not going to make the shocking hits a guy like Quay Walker might, or even Nakobe Dean might. But definitely not bad. Pass coverage. I do think he has really good pass coverage. This is where I'll give him like probably his highest, 3.9. He's really good in pass coverage. Is it his best thing? No, but he's pretty good. Gap control. I don't like his gap control. You look at all those tackles. Some of that is because of those big plays, because he's the guy who probably takes them down. 2.6 for him. He does give him some glaring gaps if you watch. Like, that's a huge hole for the running back. Thankfully, they didn't play any really great running backs, which was good for them, really. If you think of Brian Robinson as a really good running back, I'm sorry. He's good in college, but he's not gonna. He wasn't some super duper duper crazy good guy. But yeah, 2.6. Ability to fit the run. This is actually probably a lot more difficult to grade for him, considering he did play the outside and the inside. But in the inside, he did hit the holes right. I'll be honest with you. 3.2. There was a little bit of inconsistency concerns, but overall I think it's pretty good. Playmaking turnovers, 1. I don't see him making any big plays. There's just literally what it is. Like, this is not going to be the first one I ever wrote, but he just doesn't make plays on the football. He's not going to be the type of guy that's forced fumbles. Not going to be the type of guy that gets interceptions. Not the type of guy that's going to get huge sacks. Not the type of guy that's going to, you might make a huge tackle, but he's not going to get a pick 6. It's just how it is. He just doesn't force turnovers and stuff like that. It's just not who he is. That's why he gets a 1 there. His leadership, though, he's probably the best leadership I've seen. Maybe other than Christian Harris, but 4.3. He really helped this defense rally toward the end of the season. Trust me, this defense was not the most talented. LSU's defense was not that great. But with him and some other guys, Derek Stingley got hurt. Their defense was still good. They almost shut down Alabama, like I was saying. He is a beast when it comes to leadership. He knows what he's supposed to do. Zach Cunningham does too. Zach Cunningham doesn't force any turnovers. There's your answer. He just doesn't. He doesn't like to. But he does all the other little things, which is really important. You got to remember that. This dude could be a really good little thing guy in the NFL. I love his qualities. We'll see what he can do. Okay, now for Christian Harris. 6 feet tall, 232. Hand 32. Hand is 9'6". Arm is 32, basically. 40 time, 4.4. He does have some speed, I'll be honest with you. Vertical, 34.5. Broad, 11. Second, third round. Harris has a first-round skill set, but he did not consistently play up to in 2021. On the year, he recorded 79 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 passes defended. In 2020, he notched 79 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and an interception, 2 passes batted. Harris is fast, athletic, and strong. That was given proof with an excellent combine workout. He's a lot of upside with great value if he breaks out of his 2021 funk. Yeah, he was not consistent by any means. He made some horrible reads. Like, I mean, he hit the long gap, like, consistently. Like, he wanted to hit the wrong gap sometimes. Like, with a guy who's that fast and it plays with his head caught off a lot, you gotta think, who the heck is going to get this guy straight? Because he hit some bad holes. But, man, this dude, if you're going to talk about the biggest boomer bust, he's the biggest boomer bust. If there's going to be a boomer bust, really. He could definitely turn out fine, but unlike guys like Jermaine Pratt, Troy Dye, and Chaz Surratt, who are all, like, I wouldn't say irrelevant players, but aren't starters in the NFL right now, Christian Harris is definitely the best, most talented out of all these guys. This dude's a really athletic player. It's just the fact that, man, he makes some really boneheaded plays, pretty consistently, actually. Okay, finishing on with Christian Harris. His play recognition, like I said, is pretty darn atrocious. Like, he hits some really wrong holes. I do think he anticipates, but he just doesn't really understand some of the ways the defense kind of tricks him up, which is kind of what they do with rookie quarterbacks in the NFL, which they kind of did with him, considering he was really only like a 1-year true starter. But I think he will get out of this funk. It's kind of really easy to fix. You just got to watch more film, and you got to understand it better. It's kind of how it works. His physicality, I do think he's pretty physical when he gets to the ball. So I'll give him a 3.4 because when he does collide, he makes some big plays. His speed, honestly, it's pretty darn good. It's really noticeable, actually. This is his best attribute. Like, he can chase down ball carriers pretty easily, effortlessly, actually, which is really important. Like, you're not going to find guys that are, like, this gifted when it comes to that. And his strength, he's definitely strong. I'll give him a 3.6. Could definitely get better, absolutely. I do think he has that improvement. Tackling, I really don't think his tackling is that bad, actually. I'm going to give him a 6.5. Could it be better? Oh, he has a ton of improvement there. But I don't think it's bad at all. I think he can definitely get better, but it's not bad. Pass coverage. I mean, it's about average. I'll give him a 3. It's kind of underwhelming, to say the least. Like, he gives him some big catches once in a while, but it's some run after catch, which he doesn't really give up, which is a big factor in why he gets this. He's okay. He'll make a play here and there, or just doesn't do anything. Gap control, I do think he controls gaps pretty well, actually. Considering if he doesn't hit the right hole, the gaps really aren't that big. It's just knowing the fact that he knows where the guys are, keeping the gaps small in his line. Usually, even if he hits the wrong hole, it's not the biggest deal, considering the gaps are just never really that big. So I gotta give him like a 3.2 again. Like, some guys, like DeAndre Levy, never really had to worry about this because he did have a good defensive line. If he goes to a team that doesn't have a good defensive line, this could go down, but I don't think he would. I think he will go to a good defensive line because, let's be honest, some of the teams picking in the top first round, their defensive lines really aren't that bad. Ability to fit the run. This is actually really difficult for me to grade for him. I gotta give him a 2. He's atrocious at this. He needs to get much better at this. This in his play recognition needs to get a lot better if he has any chance at being a really viable starter like DeAndre Levy was. His playmaking, his turnovers, pretty good, 3.5. I think this could be his best attribute in the future, but overall, it's not bad. Leadership. I do think his leadership is actually pretty good, 3.7. Could it be better? Yeah, probably, but he did help out this defense win some tight games, which is really important. Either way, guys, now let's get to the total ranking. They're a little surprising, to say the least. Okay, starting out with Christian Harris, I gave him a 3.2. Pretty simple because he has a lot of potential, but he just doesn't have it right now. And he's coming off a really underwhelming season, which is kind of concerning, but I think he will do good in the NFL. He has a lot of potential. 3.2 for him. Devin Lloyd, yeah, I gave him a really high grade, almost a 3.75. I really do think he has the best playmaking ability out of any player in this draft class, other than probably Matsar Gardner. But like I said, there's not many guys that give this type of grade, just for the fact that for his position and what he's seen, and really, if you watch it, kind of see it. He's really high floor right at this point. He's going to be really good in the NFL. I can just put you like that. He's not going to be a bust. That's just the truth. If he's a bust, there's something wrong with me. I'll put it that way. He won't be a bust. I'll put it that way. Damone Clark, a lot of room to improve, 3.42 for him. He really showed that he's going to be a really good player. I like how he played. Do I think he can be that much greater than he is? Probably not, but he does have room to improve. Nakobe Dean has a ton of room to improve, specifically getting stronger. 3.5 for him. Do I think he's a little disappointing? Yeah, I do think he has a lot better tracking, and he's the best coverage guy in this draft class, obviously. But yeah, I think he's a really good player. Probably could be the #1 guy in a lot of people's opinion. I think he's my number. We'll see that in a second. But next guy, Quay Walker. I don't like Quay Walker. Here's why. He doesn't make the big plays. That's literally all you need to know. Is he as bad as Damone Clark? No. But he's just not very impressive, let's be honest. He does make some he's like a solid guy, but just doesn't make any huge plays. He does have like that good linebacker feel. He'll be solid. Like, it's just not what you want to see from a guy who could be really good. And then here we go, Devin Lloyd, 3.75. Do I think that's really his grade? Probably not. Drop that by, like, I don't know, 10 points. Yeah, makes sense. Nakobe Dean, 3.5, though. Then you got Damone Clark, my 3. You got Quay Walker, my 4. These guys are pretty close, Damone Clark and Quay Walker, but I think they're both good. Christian Walker's Harris is my last guy. Ton of potential. See what he can do. Either way, guys, going to the outro. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys subscribe. And yeah, we got the last video tomorrow, the DBs, which is going to be a very interesting video to say the least. But yeah, we're gonna get into that. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.